Alrighty, what is going on, my fellow Marvel Rivals gamers? It's your boy, Coach Apxche, and today we're doing a VOD review for a Groot gamer. This Groot, Marry Me Suit, is a Diamond Groot, right? And they just wanted some insight, some opinions on how they could play better, right? How they could be a better Groot, a better tank for the people that they play ranked with, right? So, with that being said, we're going to first off go into his abilities, things like that. If you already know this stuff, I'll leave a timestamp on the screen for you to skip ahead. But yeah, so first ability is going to be his grenade, right? So that's just a projectile that you throw. Once it hits the ground or any surface, it'll explode and drop little mini cluster grenades. So basically, it's a cluster grenade. That's just used for damage, right? Or for people that are out of your range, right? To throw it maybe at a wall you have placed down, and we'll get into why you might do that. Yeah. Ability number 2 is going to be your ironwood wall. So this wall is primarily used as like cover and things like that. This wall has the most HP. I think as of right now, it has. I think the HP got dropped to like 600 HP. Pretty strong wall. Basically like another you. And this wall also has a passive where when you're near the wall, it becomes activated, right? And anybody who attacks while you're near the wall will give you bonus HP, right? So give you like overshield. And then your last ability, which is going to be your Thorn Lash wall, that's going to be a smaller version of the Ironwood wall, which has the same activation passive as the Ironwood wall. But the difference is instead of giving you overhealth, this wall will attack enemies that are nearby. So if you were to place the wall like this, and this being the side, this being the front, if there is an enemy in front of the wall, you are within the range of this wall. Like, so let's say you're here, right? And you attack this enemy, this wall will also attack them, doing extra damage, right? And that's kind of where Groot gets most of his damage from. It's just the ability to basically do double the damage with those walls, as well as cutting off lines of sight from supports. And with that being said, we'll break into that too. Your walls will have multiple purposes. They'll be used to protect you. They'll be used for you to, maneuver the map. They'll be used to cut off lines of sight, especially your big wall, right, which is going to prevent enemy tanks and stuff from getting healing. And that's also another a really good reason why Groot is so meta. Last but not least, his ultimate ability, right? This is going to be basically a oversized grenade that you throw, and that grenade will latch onto people and pull them towards the center, right? So an example would be, let's say this is you on the Groot, angry Groot. You would throw an orb, right? And that orb will reach out and grab things and pull them towards the center. So basically, it kind of like clusters enemies up, right? And then you can use that to, put a wall behind, and now you're attacking them, and the wall's attacking everybody. You can use that to combo ult, things like that. So when we look at your a good combo ult could be, it could be Hela, it could be Scarlet, right? Those are probably a little bit harder to combo with, but yeah, you can do that, right? So hey, you can even combo it with Cloak. You can have Cloak dash through them, and that'll just do constant damage, which means that they're just guaranteed to always get hit. But yeah, those are Groot's abilities. Let's get into the game. Without further ado, as we maneuver to the objective, we're going to have these routes, right? These routes will allow you to get to the objective in which way you can. So we need to really think about, like, what's the strength of our comp, right? So we have tanks that are pretty good at brawling, right? We have supports that are really good at brawling. So taking head-on fights is actually not too bad for us. But it's really going to depend on what tank the enemies have, because we don't really have like tank Bernie abilities. We have sustained damage, right? We have some nice poke, and we have some nice sustained damage. So as we're walking up here, we can hear people to our front, but also probably your teammate calls it out, or you can hear them to the right as well. So in this position here, you have to make a decision. Either you can hard engage on this because it's 3v1 over there, or you can turn and peel and take that fight there. Doesn't really matter, whatever you choose to do, as long as y'all do it as a team. So hopefully your team just follows whatever call that you make. So it seems like you want to fight forward here. Boom, you got a wall of support, that's huge pick. And at this point, you just run it down mid. There's no need to do anything else. Just quite literally just run it down. Yeah. So you're already up majorly. So you probably know this already, but a quick tip just for anybody else who doesn't know: if you throw a thorn lash wall, any wall in general, on the penny nest, it will break. But just make sure you shoot it at least once or twice, so that you can guarantee that it gets put on a cooldown. If you break it only with the wall, it won't have a cooldown. There you go. Nice that your team has no supports. So this should just be a point win. Alright, so these enemies are overextended here. I would just look for walls. Nice, good thorn. Good thorn walls. Focus on the Bucky here. I wouldn't focus on the nest. Make sure you're always throwing down walls. Always look for opportunities for just to put the walls down to just burst people down. I wouldn't chase them too hard here. Look, at this point here, like, what's the point of you being here, right? You're slow. Hulk's not. If anybody's gonna finish it, it's the Hulk, right? And as you can see, you're running into, I don't even know where he went. You're running into 3 other people, which, you know, can cause you guys to, you know, maybe make a mistake here. So if I were you, I would allow the Hulk to kind of do his thing. And then if Hulk doesn't feel like he can chase it, he can back up. At the end of the day, they're gonna get another fight, especially if y'all are not moving the cart. So with that being said, you need to know that you need to put yourself in a good position. And with you having 89% on your ult, a good play that you could probably make is you could probably come up here, lurk up here, right? And you can just chill, right? You can just chill up here, and then when they start walking through, you can wall off their tanks, right? And you can just fight the tanks. So now the supports have to break a big wall, and then probably little walls after that. And then you're just fighting their tank, and then, you know, at that time, the tank probably gets eliminated, or you get an ult off. Still got eliminated, so you're down a character. They're gonna walk up here. Not really a big fan of that ult, but we're talking about you, not them. But here, honestly, I would throw an ult into their thing, because they don't. I don't think, yeah, they don't have support ults just yet. So you might be able to get a pick, as well as maybe you just force out an ult, right? So they've already committed an ult, right? You don't really have a crazy combo ult, but if you could throw your ult here and force out a support ult, that's one less support ult, so that your hella ult, it's a little bit more valuable here. As well as, like, the smart thing for the cap to do would have been to walk towards his team and then come back so that they can come through his, like, little trail and get health and just take a fight here. By you ulting there, you also deny them that. Now, you end up using both our support ults for this fight here. You end up ulting anyways afterwards. That wall could have been better. You could have put it behind them. That's one thing too, is just understanding what your team can handle, and you don't have to look at. Like, you could have been eliminated that penny. They would have. These 2 guys would have handled that cap, right? You could have eliminated a penny and then got on this guy already. Gotta break those stones. Keep fighting here. So at this point here, like, what are you doing by looking at this guy? You're doing nothing. There's nothing you can do. There's basically no help that you can do. So what I would do is I would just throw a wall right here, just so that the Loki doesn't have access to healing his Mr. Fantastic, and I would proceed to just gain map control, right? Get myself set up, put myself in a position to fight for important parts of the map. And we think about this next area here, right? It's very open, right? But as a group, your vertical mobility is very limited. So what I would say here is I would really just try to put yourself in a position to where you can take an advantageous fight, right? If they want to push you through here, right? Because Groot in here would be great. You could put a wall here, right? They want to push out this door. They're fighting into you and a wall. Heck, you could probably put one above the door as well, so they're fighting into 2 walls. And then granted, if they walk down mid, if they walk out here and they just flat out ignore you, you get a free pass into their back line. Or you could quite literally just peel back into here, right? Whatever you want to do, you have options. But if you play down main, you don't really have options. If they push high ground, you kind of just watch them do it from below, be a spectator, you know, things like that, right? So what you want to do is you want to put yourself in a position to have the most amount of impact, the most possibility for impact, so that you're not in positions where you're just a spectator. But yeah, take this downtime to put yourself in a good spot, because you're not needed for this pick. You're telling me 5 guys can't get that? Of course they can. 4 guys can't get that? Of course they can. Just put yourself in a good position here. The reason why I like the Hulk in main is because Hulk can play in a position to where he can get a lot of information. Oh, they're going right, and he can be ready to help fight with you whenever he wants, or like, oh, they're gonna push me out, he can leave, right? He has some ability to do so, right? So you let the Hulk play in a position to where he can peel, get to where he needs to be if he really needs to, and you as the group play in a position to where you're really controlling that space. Right, it's like, granted, you force out a note here, but at the same time, we just really got to think like, where's the cart in relation to our positioning? We're taking a fight up here, and the cart's still back here, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, what does this fight do? We need to take fights in relation to the cart's positioning, right? It doesn't matter if we win a fight here if the cart is back here or it's here, right? Because what's going to happen is they're going to come back out, and the cart's going to be here now or here now, right? And if they win that fight, they just regain this choke, right? You want to win fights at chokes so that you can basically give them as little fights as possible. You don't want to give them multiple fights, right? Because good players aren't going to stagger themselves. They're going to realize, oh, the cart's not freaking moving. Just chill, regroup, and not come out as a team, right? So now they can guarantee themselves that they're going to get more team fights. Unfortunately, you got back and you lost DPS. Oop. Lost DPS here. Your team is just weaker at this point, because you lost a lot of DPS, and so you're basically down 2. You just need to back up here. No reason to fight this anymore. Down 3, just leave. Down 4, holy moly, down 5. Yeah, so I think you stood there too long. Once you lost 1, you already gotta have the mindset of this fight's probably not gonna go in our favor. So just start kiting back. Be aware of your support's positioning so you're not taking too much damage without them being able to heal you. Loki has no stones. Big ult, nice. Wall, yes. Huge play. You could have did it a little bit more safe and probably got more value there, but you did what you were supposed to do there. Not really fond of you going in there, but it's only one person, so you're fine. I'd hit them shots, kid. He would have died. Go. Nice. And that kills that is crazy. Unless they didn't put it on themselves. Did they put that on themselves, or am I tripping? Is that kill for sure? Wait. Did you cancel it? Oh no, yeah, she didn't put it on. What are they doing? They toss. Back of that ult. Room 4. Where was your big wall? Was it down the whole time? Yeah, down. See, I don't believe it was down. There's no way. Okay. You have big wall? Oh, farther back. Oh yeah, wait, you had it. Yeah, you have your, and this is why you die, right? So, this is just ineffective cooldown usage. But we have big wall here, right? So your big wall should be getting used, right? Right now, your big wall should be on the ground. Okay. So your big wall's on the ground here, right? you're gonna get extra health. Right, you're gonna get extra health from doing this, from your teammates shooting that, right? So you'd be at like 1,000 HP right now. So whenever you die, right? Boom. Imagine you had 300 extra health, so you'd be at 400. You'd make it. You probably live here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the fact that you didn't use that big wall till very late and you get eliminated as you use it. It's the problem, right? Because not only does that wall block off damage, like we said, but it gives you like a form of self-sustain. So right now your Hulk is fighting for ult charge, right? Is it smart to fight with when your Hulk doesn't have Hulk form? Probably not. So he needs to get ult. So your mentality here needs to be Hulk needs to be in Hulk. Banner needs to be Hulk before I can even engage, right? 60, 70. Like, look, you're fighting down a player. In what world is this guy a player? Oh, a little grenade, right? Look at this. You die, you're down a player. He's not a player until he gets Hulk form. He can't do nothing, right? Boom. So right there, you just played too fast when your team wasn't ready. The mindset there should be get Hulk. Once we get Hulk, we can do things. Because now Hulk can bubble you in. Hulk can jump into their backline. He can do things. But since we don't wait, you get eliminated before he's ready to go. That's game. All right, chat. You know what time it is? It's note time. Note time. Time for the notes. All right, so these are going to be your 3 notes for today, right? Number 1 is going to be post/pre-fight positioning, right? And the reason why we're bringing this up is because there were too many times where you're wasting your time doing other things, right? That you don't have to do. So where after fights, you're not setting yourself up to be in a good spot, as well as in the beginning of fights, you're not doing the things you need to do positioning wise to enable your team in the most way. The greatest example I can use is when you got through first checkpoint, right? And you were too worried about the Mr. Fantastic, right? To where you didn't put yourself in a better position so where you can start that fight where you need it to be. And that kind of piggybacks off of number 2, and that's going to be to trust your team, right? There's going to be moments where your team's chasing a pick or there's somebody in your back line, right? And as a tank player, you can't do everything. Sometimes doing less is doing more. If I know there's a Captain America with 100 HP in my backline versus a Hela and a support, man, I don't care. There should be no world where he wins that 2v1. So with that being said, I'm going to look at more important stuff. I'm going to block off lines of sight. I'm going to fight something else to create pressure something else, right? Because if I look at that Cap and he lives just long enough for his team to get back and maybe he gets a little bit of peel, he's cool, right? I would rather deny his team the opportunity to help him than to try and help burn him faster just for him to do just for you to give him what he wants. He wants eyes on him, right? So in moments like that, other moments in general, just trust your team. Trust your team to do what they're supposed to do. And if they don't, hey, it's whatever. But at least give them the faith, the opportunity to be like, hey, are they going to do what they need to do? And if they prove to you that they can't do it, then you should adjust. And number 3 is going to be game sense, right? You got to keep continuing to work on your game sense. Keep continuing to improve. The perfect example of that is going to be understanding when you should use your ult, when you shouldn't use your ult, even if it's not to necessarily get a pick, but to just force out certain cooldowns, force out certain abilities. Another example of where you could have used a little bit more game sense is like when you're, and this one's very blatant, is when your banner, right, was not in Hulk form, right? He was trying to fight for it, and instead of you allowing him to fight for it, instead of you letting him get it before you engage into that next fight, you went in and you got eliminated. So now he's panicking, trying to get it so he can start contesting, and it just all into crap, right? So just being aware of things like when can we fight, when can't we fight, when do we need to reset? Okay, we're down 2, let's not commit an ult, things like that. Just continue to work on that. Not saying you don't have it. Obviously, you got the diamond, right? So you got something there. But just you gotta keep working on it, keep working on it. And obviously, the way you work on it is trial by fire, reviewing your games, right? Making sure that you're allowing yourself to see your mistakes, make mistakes, because obviously you got to make them to learn, and things like that. With that being said, hopefully everybody else who watched this video not only learned something, but enjoyed it. I do offer free coaching. If that's something you're interested in, there will be a link in my description that will lead you to my Discord where you can submit a VOD review submission. Alrighty, chat. Hopefully you have a great morning, afternoon, night, wherever you may be in this big, beautiful world of us. Hopefully I see you in the next one, God willing, and take care. Till next time.